Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our first Wednesday edition for FSU Weather of 2015. We have an interesting show for you tonight. Beginning of the semester, people are still trying to figure things out. So you and we're going to spend the next half hour together, talk about some great weather. It's going to be a fun time. Let's go ahead, talk about what your weather is going to look like over the next couple of days. We've seen some cloudy skies in the air, and it's not the greatest, checking out the satellite and radar. See all the clouds making their way in Texas, Louisiana, all the way into Alabama, and all the way into Tallahassee. Been quite a gloomy day. Let's be honest, we've seen the clouds, but Florida State did have quite a fun activity asking students to send in pictures to their Facebook account on this gloomy day, get some great pictures for us, and we might share that with some of you later in the show. We don't have them actually loaded, but we'll definitely share those on our Facebook page, so make sure you check that out, and also on our Instagram. With your weather headlines, gloomy conditions now, and we know that, and it's not going to end tomorrow. Expect some showers tomorrow, maybe some heavy showers, maybe about a quarter of an inch of rain in some places, so there might be some localized heavy rain, but after that, it's going to be clearing and cooling. So the sun's going to come back out. It's going to be out for quite a while. It's going to be wonderful. But if you're going around FSU over the next couple of days, remember right now to tomorrow night in the Union, the Involvement Fair starting at 7 o'clock is still on. So if it's not raining, that'll still be going on. Plenty of student organizations to get involved with. Get involved at FSU, especially you freshmen that have just started out your second semester, really trying to get comfortable. Think about that on your way out. Also, this Friday at 5:30, the Black Film Festival at Student Life Cinema will be kicking off Martin Luther King Week, the Martin Luther King holiday. No school on Sunday. I know, I'm excited for that. So you guys must be too. However, a fun week of great activities. It's going to be a great time, and we'll get back into your weather. Let's check out tonight, 43 degrees, a gorgeous night, some sweater weather, calm conditions. And as we go into tomorrow, we're going to talk about it a little bit, so don't worry about it. Some heavy showers and persistent clouds, but how much rain and how high are your temperatures going to get tomorrow? You're going to have to stay tuned. But as we go on, let's check out your infrared satellite. This is showing really how the clouds have just been enveloping our area today. Even lower level clouds into higher level clouds. You see where these blues start showing up is really those cool cloud tops, really high clouds. So we've had a pretty deep cloud deck over the last couple of hours, really the whole day, and that's why you haven't seen the sun out much. Those clouds will die off just a little bit, but don't expect the temperature to get too cold, maybe 47, 48 degrees. But it's not going to get much warmer tomorrow into the mid-50s. But right now, 55 in Tallahassee, 52 out in Monticello and Thomasville, 54 Bainbridge and Mariana, warm spot 58 down Apalachicola, my apologies, 49 in Valdosta. It is quite cool outside. As we check out your water vapor imagery, moisture really starting to make its way into the area over the last 3 or 4 hours. Tallahassee, Monticello, everywhere, just seeing where that moisture has really started to build in, and that is going to increase our rain chances going into tomorrow, which is why that moisture is starting to make its way in. As we zoom out, you can see where all that moisture is coming from. Not really a front associated with this, just a disturbance out by Texas, Louisiana, and down to the Gulf of Mexico, making its way very slowly to the northeast. Coastal areas, you're going to get a lot of rain. Inland, you're also going to get some rain, but coastal areas, that's where you want to look out for that heavy rain, and especially if you're out on the boat. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Not the greatest day to be out on the boat, but here's your future cast. Here is 6 o'clock on Wednesday. Look at that, snow up in Oklahoma, so it's still pretty cold outside, quite interesting. But as we put this into motion and we go into Thursday morning, check this out right here. All of this making its way to the east. This is Thursday at 8 a.m. and we're going to move through the day into the afternoon. It's going to make its way into Tallahassee, really from west to east, so our western areas. Make sure you're ready for that. Tallahassee, FSU, maybe getting it a little bit later, but not too much later. But once Friday morning rolls around, the clouds roll out, the rain rolls out, and it's going to be gorgeous. So keep that in mind as you go out over the next couple of days. If you want to go to the beach tomorrow, northeast wind, 10 to 15 miles an hour, so a little on the breezy side, surf at 2 feet. UV index, don't think it's going to be that high. It's going to be raining. It's going to be a little cloudy. So sunscreen, if you want to wear it, that's on you. But your high tides, 7:05 a.m. and at 5:32. So be aware of that, because as the rain goes up, that high tide will also continue to increase. Again, not a good day to be on the water unless you're going fishing. Right before it starts raining, that's when the fish start biting. So remember that. But periods of rain, protected water smooth, your northeast wind at 10 knots. And if you really want to catch those fish, early bird catches the worm, you want to get out there right before 7:29. But if we go into tonight, low to mid 40s, 43 in Tallahassee and Monticello, 45 down in St. Mark's, again your warm spot, Apalachicola down at 46, and your cold, Bainbridge breaking into the upper 30s at 39. But overall, a gorgeous night, partly cloudy skies, some sweater weather. Go out, enjoy it before the rain and the moisture really start to settle in. But as we go into tomorrow, make sure persistent clouds with 70% chance of rain, 57 degrees in Monticello and Tallahassee. So not getting much warmer than where we're at right about now, so expect that. But have your rain gear, bring the umbrella, bring the rain boots, bring the rain jacket. It's going to be raining. But also, down in Carabel, 52, that's going to be your cold spot tomorrow. And as we go into your 7-day forecast, step out of the way so you can look at this a little bit. Martin Luther King Day on Monday, your high 62 degrees, the low 39. See, after that rain chance, all we're seeing is sunny skies, a lack of clouds, and your highs in the middle 60s. But we'll go ahead, bring it back, see that it's going to be cooler in the weekend, and move in to your southeast forecast. You can see temperatures really warming up as you go to the east. Atlanta sitting at 44 degrees. Nashville getting a little colder at 34. And where you saw that snow out in Oklahoma City, 37 degrees for them. So it's still pretty cool, except the state of Florida. You know, Sunshine State, sometimes we get lucky. People hate us because they ain't us. But, you know, 55 degrees in Tallahassee, 51 out in Jacksonville, 61 down in Melbourne. That's 73 all the way down there. That is going to be for the wonderful city of Miami. If you're hanging out in the 954, hello to you. But as we go in, our temperature change, still cooler than it's been over the last couple of days, even all the way down to Miami, just 2 degrees cooler. But Orlando and Savannah, Georgia, have seen quite a significant drop over the last couple of days, about 10 to 12 degrees. So expect that, but also expect that to continue to cool after our showers tomorrow. 2 below, it's getting warmer. Not here, not too much warmer, about a 2-degree difference in Little Rock than 24 hours ago, but still getting there. So we'll continue to monitor that as we check out your winds. Right now, coming out of the north, 5 to 10 miles an hour. New Orleans got a nice breeze, a sustained wind of 10 miles per hour. But those winds will shift. Starting tomorrow, we're going to see winds coming out of the east-northeast, going to bring in that moisture and bring those showers into our area, as well as to the rest of the southeast. Humidity's going up. If we were looking at these numbers in the morning, maybe 30, 40%, but now up into the 50s, 60s, 70s in Atlanta, 80% down in Orlando. So the moisture is definitely on the rise, and that is going also to add to our rain chances. We've seen this water vapor imagery before, but just moisture starting to envelop the area in the upper levels. It's going to make its way down to the lower levels, and that is what will be causing our rain and maybe a couple thunderstorms. Might not hear a rumble of thunder, but you might, so be aware. Satellite and radar, again, showing the cloudy skies. Moisture starting to make its way into New Orleans and into Texas, but Shreveport, just looking at the clouds, really everywhere else, even Arkansas, Little Rock, Montgomery, Tallahassee, Savannah, just clouds. And that's what we're going to see until the end of tonight, and that's why we're not going to cool down as much. We might get into the 30s if it clears up, but don't expect that. So going into tonight, 44 in Tallahassee, 37 in Savannah, 31 out in Wilmington, 34 in Atlanta. Warm spot, Key West, still sitting at 69, just breaking out of the 70s. And for tomorrow, 53 degrees in Montgomery, 55 in Tallahassee and Savannah, 51 in Wilmington, 77 down in Key West. We're going to go ahead and talk about a little bit more meteorology with an upgrade to one of the forecasting systems that we use to forecast the weather when we give you the forecast every day. So this GFS upgrade is going to begin today at 7 a.m. We have a nice horizontal resolution, which is kind of like, think about a grid. And every grid point is a distance from one point to another. So that distance is going to decrease, which means there's going to be more accurate, more fine observations. So expect that. We're also expecting a nice upgrade to the terrain, so there's going to be a little more mountain action going on, which is really important, especially out in this area where you see Denver, Albuquerque, Salt Lake City. The mountains there have a big impact on the weather, so now that we know what's going to impact it, we're going to be a little more prepared, and just overall better physics. The atmosphere is a very crazy thing, and we want to make sure that we're getting it right. But we're going to go ahead, let me fix my tie here a little bit, apologize for that. Go ahead and check out a national look, see how this GFS is going to help us forecast a little more. Winter weather advisories out in Missouri, be on the lookout for that. Albuquerque, you got some nice winter storm warnings showing up right now. So the snow, it's getting there. But, you know, Salt Lake City, Denver, Phoenix, you guys are in the clear right now. Some red flag warnings all the way up in Montana. So a little bit of a fire risk to the northwest. But we'll keep you monitored for that. We've seen this temperature change graphic before, but I wanted to show you really where the temperatures have started to increase. Out in Kansas City, an 11-degree increase over the last 24 hours, especially in Minneapolis, a 9-degree, at least 10 degrees in Denver. So the overall trend nationally is a warming trend. Florida, we're cooling down. Southeast is starting to cool down, and that will continue. But just know that the rest of the country is warming, so we're going to be on par with the rest of them coming up pretty soon. Currently, it's cold. 11 Detroit, 22 in Minneapolis, 23 out in Boston, 32 in Washington, 31 out in Billings. And again, we're just sitting pretty here in Miami, 73 degrees, beautiful conditions. And as we go on to California, 65 actually in Phoenix, Arizona, 58 out in San Francisco, 42 out in Seattle, Washington. So you can see we'll get to the snow in a little bit. We're not going to talk about it that much in this forecast, but stay tuned for a winter weather update where we'll really go in depth with it. But you can see the snow out into New Mexico turning into rain really down at the Mexico border. And as we see before, clouds making their way into our area. So we'll pull up the radar for the southeast, and you can see rain hasn't started yet. Still looking at clouds, very small bands of rain starting to make their way into New Orleans, but the clouds making their way in, the moisture making its way in, and that will continue to increase our rain chances. As we move up to the northeast, snow making its way into New Jersey. DC was getting a lot of snow earlier and a little bit of mixed precipitation, a little bit of sleet starting to dissipate, move off to the northeast, so they're into the clear. But as we move over into the Dakotas, snow making their way into there, coming down from Canada into Idaho, well, that's Minnesota, I'm sorry, North Dakota into Minnesota, and even a little bit in extreme northeastern South Dakota. That's where you're seeing the snow over there. And there's our next system, got a nice little spin on it off the coast of California, just started developing that spin. Right there, I'm going to let this loop through one more time, because check that out, you got a nice line of clouds, just spins up, and that's where the weather gets started. Once you get that kink in the atmosphere, that's what we're looking at. But as we go into tonight, cold, 7 in Detroit, 23 in Boston, 19 out in Salt Lake City. As we go down into Florida, a 44-degree mark in Tallahassee, 67 out in Miami. But tomorrow, 25 in Detroit, 34 in Boston, 53 out in Billings, 48 in Seattle. And hey, we're still hitting the 80s in the Sunshine State. Miami, good day to go to the beach. 80 degrees. But we'll go ahead, bring it back locally, check out the rest of your work week. Again, we've already talked about those gloomy conditions now, but the showers are coming in tomorrow and definitely starting to clear and cool. Thursday, your 70% chance of rain, some heavy showers, 57 degrees, but Friday, sunny skies, and that'll continue into your weekend. Here's your radar, again, showing the clouds, but not really showing much in the way of rain, which is good, because we don't want to see the rain just yet. It's a nice night to go out, hang out with some friends, I don't know, check out a movie at Student Life Cinema. It's a good night to be outside. So be outside before that rain comes tomorrow. Current temperatures, 53 out in Monticello, 49 Valdosta, 52 out in Thomasville, 56 Wilma and Caravel, Apalachicola. You're sitting pretty, 58 degrees. Those winds continuing to come out of the north, which is driving in that cold weather. But that easterly flow is going to start taking over. Nice little spin right here. Wind's going to converge, bring in the moisture, create that lift, which is going to bring us those showers and maybe a couple thunderstorms. But right now, 5 to 10 mile an hour winds, enough to affect our temperatures just a little bit, maybe keep it up another degree or so. But we will expect these temperatures to calm down tonight. So expect that. So expect the temperatures to cool down a decent amount. But again, Futurecast showing this rain. And here's what I'm going to point out here. We're pretty good right now. We have this nice giant area of rain which is going to make its way into our area. There is a possibility that we get a little more rain. You see further south where the oranges, the reds are, that's even heavier rain. So if that could find a way to gain some intensity and make its way to the northeast, we might see a little bit more rain. But right now, we're looking at maybe 1/10 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch. So it's going to make its way through, and Friday, it's just going to be gorgeous. Sunny skies, keeping pretty for the rest of the week. But all you have to do is get through tomorrow. So 43 tonight, a gorgeous night, some sweater weather, calm conditions, and as we go into tomorrow, 57 degrees, heavy showers, persistent clouds, so even when you get a break in the shower activity, don't expect to see the sun. I'm sorry. I want to see it too. It's been like, 5 days since we've seen the sun? I miss it too. Trust me. We're going to see it on Friday. But 57 for your high and a 70% chance of rain. Then as we go in to the 7-day forecast, continue those clear skies. Clouds starting to build in again on Wednesday, but as we look, 43 degrees tonight. We're going to get to the low 30s on Saturday, 33 degrees. So right up to freezing. And we're going to talk about something that we don't talk about typically in the winter, and that is the U.S. warming up. Right now we have zonal flow. So that means when we were talking about flow in the atmosphere, you have different flows. Zonal flow is kind of just like a left to right flow. Then you have amplified flow, which is going to go up and down and up and down. And that's going to be a lot of dips in the jet stream, which is a big driver of our temperature, because as the jet stream gets closer to us, it will continue to cool down those temperatures. However, right now that zonal flow means no big weather systems are crossing our country. The temperature or the rain that we're going to see tomorrow is actually going to be a result of just a disturbance, just a little bit of moisture in the Gulf of Mexico getting wrapped up and converging, colliding over our area, and that's what's going to cause those showers. But high pressure is in control, and we're not going to be talking about our next system until well into next week. But right now, we've been talking about how warm Florida is, and we're just going to see how warm it's going to stay right here. You see these blues up here? That's like the boundary. You have all these people, cold weather, but the snowbirds, they made the right choice coming down to Florida because it is wonderful. 55 again in the hometown in Tallahassee, 60 in Orlando, 65 out in Tampa, 70 down in West Palm Beach, and 73 down in Miami. Can you imagine? We're still seeing 70s in January. This is awesome. Florida State. We didn't make the national championship game, but what is it, like 20 degrees in Oregon now? We don't got to deal with that. So as those winds continue to come out of the north, temperatures will cool down just a little bit, but compared to the rest of the country, we'll be quite above average. West Palm Beach, getting a nice little gust of wind, 16 miles an hour. So if you're on the beach there, make sure you're not holding any big umbrellas. You might get blown over. But other than that, the rest of the state's looking pretty nice. Relative humidities, just since we last showed you this graphic, has continued to increase. Jacksonville really ramping up the moisture at 92%, 69% out in Tallahassee, upper 80s down in the southwest, Fort Myers, Key West, both sitting at 87% humidity. So even in the last 15 minutes, the moisture has been on the rise. And expect that trend, especially over the last couple of hours. Satellite and radar showing the clouds making their way in. And ladies and gentlemen, they're not getting any thinner. They're just going to continue to grow. It's going to continue to make its way in. The radar starting to pop up even a couple more showers, starting to get a little more intense. So that might be our first band of rain tomorrow morning. We'll keep an eye on that for you. But we'll go ahead and check out the rest of Florida right now. Jacksonville not showing too much. It looks like there's a lot of rain, especially in those last couple frames as we move in. But really just some false reflectivity, some false returns, so no rain to speak of out in Jacksonville. As we make our way further south, showers skirting the coast of Miami, West Palm. I don't think these are going to make their way inland, so nothing to worry about there. But always be on the lookout for that stray shower. And as we move into Orlando, that's my hometown, Kissimmee, right there. But as we look at Orlando, Daytona Beach, again, showers along the coast, really running parallel to the coast, so don't expect anything too out of the ordinary there. Making our way back into Tallahassee. Now, this is just the radar, so this isn't showing clouds. And you can see, as of now, we are out of the rain. Expect that to change tomorrow morning. So tonight for Florida, up in the north, up in the Panhandle, upper 40s, 44 degrees in Tallahassee, 41 in Jacksonville, 44 out in Pensacola. And as we get further south, it just gets warmer, 55 both in Orlando and Tampa, and then mid to upper 60s down into Key West and Miami. But as we get into tomorrow, 58 in Jacksonville, 71 out in Orlando, 80 in West Palm Beach and Miami, 79 down in Fort Myers, 69 in Tampa, and those mid-50s and upper 50s continuing for the Big Bend region. So let's go talk about, now we talked about the warm, let's talk about the cold, and let's go into a quick winter weather update. Lake effect snow still making its way in, really starting to die down a bit, but you can see where the snow has started to dissipate. There was a nice line right to the west of Lake Michigan, but started to dissipate. Got some snow in Michigan, but really the majority of the snow right now is up in Canada, and we'll continue to see that snow dissipate over the next couple of days. It'll slow down, really just kind of die out a little bit, because those temperatures will continue to increase. Airport delays, we didn't see them before the show, but right now maybe a couple ground stops in Boston. We're not reporting a numerical delay yet, but that red plane means there's a couple stops, so you might have a short delay in Boston if you're headed out. But as we continue for the rest of your travel, you see the snow up in Canada and northern Minnesota. And as we continue on the increase in Missouri and even into Michigan, making its way into Michigan and into Detroit, Minneapolis, but really the majority staying in Canada and the snow starting to dissipate down in Missouri. And as we continue on, the rain is going to make its way into New Orleans and into us Thursday afternoon. And you can see right up here that next system just to the west of Seattle. So make sure you're paying attention for that coming next Wednesday or into Thursday. Your snowfall accumulation over the next couple of days isn't going to change all that much. Blues are getting a little deeper up in the north. I'll actually step out of the way this way so you can see it. But into New York and into the Northeast Friday morning, we're going to see some more snow on the increase. So be on the lookout for that. But we'll bring it back to the tri-state area, show you a couple temperatures and what we're going to see over the next couple of days. 55 out in Tallahassee, 59 Albany, 41 in Macon, 49 in Albany, and 49 as well in Valdosta. But as we check out your Adonis temperatures, your model temperatures over the next couple of days, as we go into Thursday morning, really cold. I think our computer model is on the fritz a little here. I don't think it's going to get down to 34, maybe 43. Let's switch those two numbers around, Adonis. Let's see if we can get that right. But as we go into Thursday afternoon with the rain, really, Adonis is telling us 53 before it gets down to the middle 40s Friday morning. I think our computer model getting a little wacky. Let's be honest. That 40 should be on Thursday night, and that 34 Friday night. So as we go into Friday afternoon, 54 out in Tallahassee and Valdosta, 51 Albany and Dothan, 50 in Macon, and as we continue on, 46 degrees in Tallahassee, 45 in Valdosta. Now we have some FSU basketball tonight. It's going to be a great time. FSU will be taking on Pitt at Pitt at 7 o'clock. But also, it's the NFL playoffs. NFC Championship game. Indianapolis Colts, New England Patriots, 40 degrees and cloudy, a south wind 10 to 20 miles an hour. Both games will begin at 7 p.m. At 7 p.m. on Sunday for Indianapolis and New England. And then the Green Bay Packers versus the Seattle Seahawks, 3 p.m. on Sunday, 50 degrees and cloudy. Make sure you tune into those games. College football is over. We got a couple games left in the NFL, so some interesting stuff. So let's go into your last local forecast, starting with your weather headlines. Gloomy conditions. Reviewing what we've been going over. Gloomy conditions now. Those showers continuing into tomorrow, and some clearing and cooling over the next couple of days. 55 degrees, partly cloudy skies. Dew point getting down to 45. Dew point can be a good indicator of what our temperature is going to be tonight. And I would say 45 is a pretty decent approximation, but winds coming out of the north, 6 miles per hour. Temperatures 55 in Tallahassee, still 53 out in Monticello. Thomasville's cooled down a little bit, down to 52. Valdosta still sitting pretty at 49. 54 down in Bainbridge, 56 down in Loma and Carabel, 58 down in Apalachicola. Satellite and radar showing those clouds just making their way in, and they're going to continue. We actually, looks like we have a little break right there. So if you're just north of Tallahassee, you might have gotten a nice glimpse of sunshine. Actually, the sun's already gone down, so maybe not. But you might have gotten a nice glimpse of the moon, which is just as nice. So the big picture, one more time, showing where the rain, timing out this event for you, knowing when the rain is coming. Thursday morning, you got an 8 a.m. class. You're going to be in the clear for a little bit. Bring your stuff for after your class, though, because this rain is going to make its way in quick. 1 o'clock, maybe into 2 o'clock. That's when you're going to expect that rain. But into Friday morning, it's going quick, my friends. It's going quick. So make sure that you know when to have that umbrella between 1 and 4. That's the prime time for the rain. If you're out on the beach, northeast wind 10 to 15 miles an hour, a surf of 2 feet, UV index not too high because it will be raining. But as we go on the water, not a good boating day. Get that fish. 7:35 a.m. for your sunrise. So if you want to go fishing, I know I'd go out there if I had my tackle box with me. But northeast winds, 10 knots, a 2-foot wave, protected water, smooth, but definitely some nice periods of rain. So for tonight's forecast, a gorgeous night, have some sweater weather for you. 43 in Monticello and Tallahassee, 41 out in Thomasville, 39 out in Bainbridge, 44 down in Carabel. And as we go into tomorrow, planning your day, at 8 a.m., some stray showers, 45 degrees. At noon, those showers will start building, 52 degrees. Then heavy rain possible around 5 p.m., 57. So that's going to be the prime time for the rain as you're headed home, as you're getting out of the parking garages, if you found parking in the first place. So we know how much of a struggle that can be sometimes. But, you know, it happens. We're students. We're used to it. Last look at your 7-day forecast before we give you a couple of reminders about our show. Thursday, a 70% chance of rain. Friday through Wednesday, gorgeous skies, gorgeous weather, gorgeous temperatures. Now let me tell you a couple of announcements. We usually see us, if you see us live on livestream.com/FSU Weather, we do apologize. We are having a couple of technical difficulties with that right now, but we will get that fixed for you as soon as possible. We are also working on beginning to stream to YouTube, so if you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, you'll be able to start watching it live hopefully next week, but we'll keep you updated on that. And also, Instagram page still going strong, so make sure you know about that. It's really a fun experience. Get involved with us. We love seeing your pictures. We love seeing students getting involved in our program. So please join us, be interactive, and help us make our show the greatest it can be. More college basketball, women's basketball tomorrow at 7 p.m. versus Pitt. 55 degrees and rain, but it's at the Tuck. So be ready, get loud, come support our women's basketball team. Bunch of lovely ladies going out there, playing some basketball, supporting our school. Just because college football season is over doesn't mean we don't have to support our athletics. So make your way out to the Tuck. It's going to be great. It's going to be a good game. But as we continue on, again with that 7-day forecast, one more time, MLK Day, Monday, no class. It's going to be a beautiful day to go outside, just hang out. But that 70% chance of rain for Thursday, remember that. But again, like us on Facebook.com/FSU Weather, follow us on Twitter.com/FSU Weather, and watch us, not right now, on livestream.com/FSU Weather, but we hope to have that back up soon and are streaming to YouTube. Thank you for joining us tonight. I hope you've gotten to know me pretty well, because I've been on for quite a while. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for FSU Weather. I'm Student Meteorologist Braden Robinson, and enjoy your Wednesday evening.